Okay, let's go to the phone line here because my dear friend, one of the co-hosts here at Freedom Friday and reporter for us, Mike Shoesmith, he is the executive editor of the PNN News and Ministry Network, and he is an author, he's a syndicated blogger, an entrepreneur, a good friend of mine and yours, Michael Shoesmith. I know that you were listening to the show earlier, and you heard me going off on race relations and how, you know, what we need is just a little more love of God among people, just human decency. And I'm not talking rainbows and daffodils and puppy breath kind of, hippie love. Peace, brother, peace. No, I'm talking about genuine human, Holy Spirit filled, just love somebody, help somebody, be decent to somebody. And what you discover is most of this racial tension just melts.
Well, that's very true, Carl. By the way, it so saddens me that the Canadian government has taken my ability to defend myself away from me because I was ill prepared for something that happened to me this week. I almost bought the farm this week, actually. It was quite an event. I look forward to sharing that with you. And it ties very nicely into your opening monologue on race relations in your area down there. Mm-hmm. It sounds very utopic down there, by the way. I've been to that area, and trust me, folks, it is paradise.
Well, I'm not saying everything's perfect, and we've got some black idiots down here, and we've got white idiots and Hispanic idiots and the whole thing. I mean, we've got people and we've got some crime, although our crime rates are very low overall. But I'm just saying, in day-to-day living, we just don't have massive race problems. We just don't.
Well, let me tell you this story that happened to me this week. There are pockets of anti-biblical racism throughout the country still. As you know, I travel all from sea to sea and border to border quite extensively. Mm-hmm. And I interact with people regularly, and there are pockets of, I say anti-biblical racism because, I mean, let's face it, folks, if you are a blood-bought, born-again, Bible-believing Christian, you should be, racism should be, you should not have any vestige of racism in you from your pre-salvation days.
Right.
Because, I mean, let's face it, if you open the book of Genesis, from the very beginning we learn that we're all in the same family anyway.
Right.
I mean, this whole racism thing makes no sense from a biblical perspective. None whatsoever.
You're right.
So anyway, I was in Texas this week, and I was in some mixed company in a place of business, and we were all standing in line waiting to do something, and a young black man cut in line, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, clearly he was not aware that he had cut in line. There was a gap in the line, people weren't paying attention, and he just wandered up and just stood there, it was an innocuous thing that he did. He would have been open to somebody saying, hey, the lineup is 3 miles back, buddy, you better move, right?
Right.
But before anybody could say anything, a white guy from Texas, he calls this man the N-word.
Oh, no.
And he just launched into this guy.
Yeah.
Every racial epithet you can think of, all relating to the black race.
And that proves my point that there are idiots out there of all races. Go ahead.
Right, but it gets better, because this young black man was terrified, and he was not equipped to defend himself verbally against this attack. And of course, everybody's pulling out their cell phones, recording this. That's the travesty of the modern age. That everybody wants to make a buck on YouTube now. They don't want to actually step out and help anybody anymore. Somebody could be burning alive in their car, but first let's get it on tape, right?
Hey, let me break in because I want you to finish your story. But I'm just going to say, you're so right, Mike. When you're telling this story, it never dawned on me. I'm trying to put myself there. Okay. It never dawned on me to pull out my cell phone and record it. That is so godless to me. People, like you said, burn up in their car, and instead of helping, people are recording it. This is unbelievable. Anyway, go ahead with your story.
And there are cases in Japan. They actually have a rail system in Japan, and they had to segregate the rail system because young, beautiful women were going on the trains. And these trains got the nickname rape trains because women were going on these trains and being raped and groped, and people were just catching it on their cell phones. Nobody was helping them.
Good
so now that Japan is talking about going with female-only trains just to, there are warnings out there on travel sites, by the way. Stay off the trains in Japan, which, by the way, is 80% atheist, but we won't go there today.
Right. That's another story. Anyway, stay on your story. So you're in line.
Right.
The guy gets called the N-word. He doesn't know what to do. So what happens next?
Right. So I launch into this white guy because, listen, Moses married an Ethiopian woman.
Yeah, I know.
And his sister was apparently some kind of a racist because she says, she starts griping, how dare you marry this Ethiopian woman?
Right.
How dare you do such a thing? Ethiopian, we all get the impression when we hear Ethiopian that it was a black woman, right?
Right. More than likely it was, yes.
Right. So who steps into this black woman's defense? God himself.
Yep.
Says to Miriam, okay, you think skin color is, you want to be white, I'll make you white. And gave her leprosy,
right?
Until her brother stepped in and prayed for her. And you know the story. But anyway, so God defends people against racism. God is not a fan of racism. So I decide, okay, I'm going to step in and defend this kid because this guy's on the verge of tears now, this poor black guy.
Yeah.
So I launched into this white guy. I said, listen, pal, you are the problem. You are the problem in this country. You are promoting, festering this problem. If you would reach out to this young man, he understands English.
Yeah.
Just tell him politely, look at the lines back here, he will move. Okay, he's not big enough to fight us all. He's going to move. You do not have to bring the race issue into this. You are the problem.
Good on you, Mike Shoesmith. Good on you. Now I'm even more proud to be your friend. Anyway, what happened next? Obviously he didn't kill you or shoot you because you're talking, but go ahead. What happened next?
Well, we got outside.
Yeah.
And this guy wanted to fight physically. He wanted to get into a brawl.
So he's still like 7th grade. Anyway, go ahead.
Right. So then he gets a little closer to me, and now I'm a big man.
Yes, you are.
Out.
Yes, you are.
I am not to be trifled with.
Right. No, and I'm going to say, I don't mind telling folks. First time I met you, I said, wow, he's a whole lot bigger than I thought he was. Because I'm a big man too, and
right.
just in size, and always have been, and used to pump iron and work out and everything, and 6'3", I don't know, 230 now probably, and not fat. And, you're right there with me. You're right there. And so you're a big man. Anyway, so what happened?
Well, he wanted to fight, and I said, we were about 20 feet apart, and I said, look, if you want to fight me, I will fight you. But listen, before you come any closer, just know that you're about to swallow a lot of blood.
Right.
Because I'm going to wreck you. Because I was so angry with this guy, Carl.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna start it, but I would be happy to end it.
Well, so what happened? We're running out of time. Get to this. What happened?
Well, he started walking toward me. He started sizing me up, and he said, "Look, I don't want to fight you." And he pulled out his gun.
Oh no!
And he said, "I will shoot you right now."
Do you know that he could go to prison for what he did?
Yeah, and I said, "Well, listen." You just won. I do a lot of business in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need this kind of trouble. If I can't get into the U.S., I'm in deep trouble.
Had you called the police? Had you called the police and reported him? He would go to jail for that. I know in Florida you would. You cannot pull out a gun to end a fight, or you've got to be in fear of your life that someone else started. He started it. He came. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're on air, aren't we? This sounds like a personal phone. It sounds like we're talking a personal phone call here. But I'm just telling you. Anyway, man.
Right.
So go ahead. Go ahead. He pulls out the gun.
I asked a friend later for advice, what should I have done? And the guy said, look, remember Trayvon. The guy could have said that you were a threat to him, and that he feared for his life, and that's why he shot you. Yeah. And this whole thing could go through the court system, and you could spend a lot of money, and it was wise of you to just walk away.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I said, hey, listen, pal, I can't fight a bullet. You win. I am leaving.
Yeah.
And he went his separate way. But listen, this is just, I am not ashamed of the fact that I stood up for this young man, because at the end of the day, we are all equal in the eyes of God.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know, if you're holding any racist tendencies out there, you need to get right with God, because this is an evolution problem.
Right.
This is not a Bible problem. Evolution teaches this. We do not, as Bible-believing Christians, promote this, believe this, and I believe we should fight against it at every opportunity.
Me too.